What is up, boys and girls? We're talking Fallout from tonight's episode of WWE Raw for June 9th, 2014. It's your host right here, the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Man, lot to talk about on this episode. We're going to be definitely running into a little bit of OT because I definitely want to try to make sure we get as much interactions from you all as possible with regards to the news that had came about for the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan. We'll get into all that in just a little bit. You can interact with us during the course of this live episode by posting those comments down below. You can also interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Special shout out to those of you we were interacting with on Twitter tonight. Great interactions from you guys, especially during our Caption This piece. You guys have put some interesting stuff out there. I definitely want to get to that in the later part of this show, but y'all had some funny stuff that just had me rolling all night long. But yeah, Twitter at the RCWR Show or on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. Make sure you give that page over there a like. Say hello to us. We always like chatting it up with folks on our Facebook page. And yeah, man, I mean, what can you say about this episode of Raw as we're like 3 weeks away from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view? It's really just changed in a big way. If you're a WWE fan, the climate in WWE has changed dramatically. I mean, it's insane right now. But yeah, those are the tools. Interact with us that way. I'm definitely going to try to do my best to get you guys part of this episode. Now, look, if you're looking for actual WWE footage and you're stumbling across our channel for the very first time, you might want to go head on over to WWE Fan Nation, or maybe you can check out little highlights from what you might have missed on WWE Raw Backstage Pass through the WWE Network, or you can go to WWE.com for photos, videos, the work. So keeping all that in mind, let's go on ahead and let's talk about tonight's episode of WWE Raw as things had kicked off with the Authority, Triple H, and Stephanie McMahon. And if you were following Triple H on Twitter earlier today, he had some blockbuster news that was pretty much going to be changing the landscape of the WWE. Just what would that blockbuster news be? We wouldn't know until tonight, but I liked how things had kicked off as things had began with the Power Couple. And they had announced that, hey, WWE Universe, WWE fans, we've been telling you all for the longest that Daniel Bryan just was not meant to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We told you guys that given the injuries that he had, that he should do the right thing and he should relinquish the WWE Championship. But now we're in a position right here where we have proof that Daniel Bryan at this point has no business being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And they pretty much had showed a video clip of Daniel Bryan's doctor saying, hey, look, Daniel Bryan's been making progress and everything, but the way it stands right now, in his medical opinion, there's just no way humanly possible that Daniel Bryan is going to be able to defend his WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up in 3 weeks. That's going to be Sunday, June 29th. So the doctor noted that Daniel Bryan could maybe at the next pay-per-view, no, actually, let me back up. The doctor said that Daniel Bryan could possibly come back to the ring maybe after that pay-per-view, but that they will be revisiting Daniel Bryan in a couple of weeks to see what type of progress he's made, if any at all. But as it stands right now, Daniel Bryan cannot defend that WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So it gave great joy to the Authority to announce to the WWE Universe that they were stripping Daniel Bryan of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And Stephanie McMahon, I thought this was a very interesting point that she made, as she said, Daniel Bryan, hey, look, I tried to call you all throughout the day and give you the news, but you didn't return my calls. I tried to speak to your agent. I wasn't able to get in contact with her. Triple H kind of took a little bit of a jab at Daniel Bryan, basically saying, hey, been saying it all along. Daniel Bryan's a B plus guy, and he just had no business being in that type of field as a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Pretty much, I told you so, was Triple H's whole message and everything. And I also thought it was kind of funny that as Triple H was just mentioning all this, one thing that he homed in on was the whole journey that Daniel Bryan was able to take leading up to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I thought that was kind of a nice little touch and everything. But they had a missed opportunity as far as bringing up Daniel's Bryan, one of his WrestleMania opponents, and Dave Batista. Because remember, Dave Batista, he had walked out on the WWE and Triple H Evolution last week. And here Triple H is in this unique position where storyline-wise, he could have kind of taken a little bit of a jab at Batista, basically saying, hey, look, some people who will remain nameless, the animal, you could have just kicked on back, wait, watch everything play out, and then you could be in the unique position that the Viper Randy Orton is now in, as check this out. The landscape of the participants for this Money in the Bank match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship, it's changed in a big way. So Alberto Del Rio is part of it. Randy Orton didn't have to do a match, not a damn thing. And he gets placed into this ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Oh yes, it's going to be a ladder match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I can just feel you guys that's out there that's probably going to go, well, wait a minute, and I can just picture somebody with some Dexter's laboratory glasses on and everything, nice big juicy bifocals, and they're saying, wait a minute, the logic of this doesn't make sense because the whole purpose of Money in the Bank is that there's supposed to be a Money in the Bank ladder match for a briefcase for a shot at the championship, good for a year. This logic is stupid. No, the logic is not stupid, for the simple fact Daniel Bryan physically cannot compete right now. Not to mention, and I can't stress this enough, that we're 3 weeks away from this Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So keep cool, my babies, because I am really getting the impression that with regards to the Money in the Bank ladder match itself, where a winner gets a future shot for the championship, good for 1 year, I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing 2 ladder matches just to kind of set everything in balance, okay? Now, look, if it doesn't get announced right on through up to the day of the pay-per-view and we're pretty much going like 90 minutes into the pay-per-view and we don't see that there's a second match, you know what? I will give you guys all the credit in the world, but you know what? We're still 3 weeks away. There is a lot of programming left that WWE can do to get to that point if they want to go on ahead and throw a second Money in the Bank ladder match in there, which I feel they will do. But those are your 2 participants so far. As the night had progressed, we would see more Money in the Bank qualifying matches be announced, and it did take place on this episode of Raw, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But the landscape of that Money in the Bank match for the vacant title shaping up to be pretty damn good. But I thought it was a missed opportunity right there, creative-wise, for Triple H to be able to kind of take a little bit of a dig at Dave Batista, and hell, a golden opportunity right there to take a little bit of a dig at CM Punk. Remember, CM Punk, the timing of him rolling out and everything supposedly, it just really makes you wonder just what exactly had went down as far as this whole CM Punk sabbatical and just exactly what was said between Punk, Triple H, and Vince McMahon, as the 3 of those guys had talk behind closed doors. Really just makes you wonder right there. But hey, that's a different topic for another time. great way that they had opened up Raw, as Triple H had also brought up the whole Shield. He did manage to take a jab at Seth Rollins, former bandmates, and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And we would later find out in an exclusive interview that Michael Cole would have with Seth Rollins just what exactly had came about, as far as why Seth Rollins had broke away from the Shield. Why did he betray his brothers? A lot of matches that was going on for this episode of Raw. A lot of cold and somewhat medium to mild moments, I can say, during the course of this 3-hour episode. First off, we had saw our first Money in the Bank qualifying match, as it was between Sheamus, Wade Barrett. I thought this was a great way to open up Raw as far as the wrestling goes, really setting up the tone and everything. These two guys had one hell of a brutal encounter, as we had saw Sheamus pick up the victory. If I'm not mistaken, Sheamus and Wade Barrett, they actually had trended at one point during their match. But yeah, I mean, the way things are looking right now, with Sheamus advancing to this Money in the Bank ladder match, I know a lot of you guys are like, man, it'd be badass to see Sheamus go back to being heel again. I'm with you guys 100%. I don't know what it is, but, you know, before he went out on his last injury, he had something really good going on with the whole 1-800 fella and all that, and it just kind of seemed like since he's been back on the main roster, they've kind of gotten away from that. Sheamus has almost kind of gone back to that whole fighting spirit type of a champion. But I'm with you guys. I've been preaching it for weeks now, a couple of months now, that Sheamus needs to go back to his old roots and be a badass heel again. I think it would be freaking awesome right there. But Sheamus advancing, I know there are probably some of you guys that's like, what? Wade Barrett didn't advance? You know, it would have been nice to see Barrett advance. It really would have. But you know what? I think he's having so much more fun right now, as the what's the championship belt that he's holding right now? Is it the United States Championship? No, he's holding on to the Intercontinental Championship right now. I think he's still just getting started with that Intercontinental Championship. He's got a lot of life left in him as far as that championship goes. He's just getting cranked up. But the idea of Sheamus being in there, I like that a little bit more. And besides, let's look at history as far as Wade Barrett goes. The last time around Wade Barrett was supposed to be involved in a Money in the Bank ladder match, at least on paper, Wade Barrett didn't make it because of an injury that would take him out for, if I'm not mistaken, almost a year. So honestly, I don't blame WWE for not penciling in Barrett to be the winner and advance to that Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm all fine for Sheamus being in there. No problem with that whatsoever. And I know some of you guys will probably look at what I just said and be like, well, Sheamus just came off of a somewhat serious injury as well. But I don't know, it just kind of seems more like, when you really think about it, Sheamus doesn't really hardly get into that many injuries. I'm kind of just playing it back over the years. I think Wade Barrett has been involved in more injuries, and whether it be minor or serious, than Sheamus when you kind of stack it up. I could be wrong with that, but I have no problem with Sheamus advancing to that Money in the Bank ladder match. While we're still talking about Money in the Bank ladder matches, let's just go on ahead and let's jump to the next Money in the Bank ladder match, which had consisted of Cesaro taking on RVD. This match actually had ended up trending, and for good reasons. It was that damn good. I'm telling you guys straight up, that damn good. Oh, but I love how Paul Heyman had once again just gave a great swerve to the WWE fans, especially those at that Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which, by the way, WWE got a little bit of a bone to pick with you, man. How could you not mention the fact that Brett Favre had once played for the Minnesota Vikings? How could you guys not mention that the purple one, Prince, had celebrated a birthday over the weekend? I mean, shame on you, WWE. No little red Corvette for you. But no, seriously, great match that we had saw between Cesaro, RVD, Paul Heyman just milking that WWE Universe crowd, hyping up Brock Lesnar. talking about the fact that Brock Lesnar had did his amateur wrestling training out there and everything, really had got the crowd nice and worked up. And Heyman said, me and my client, we were talking, and we think that it'd be really good to have a celebration for you guys here tonight to celebrate his WrestleMania moment. And he just worked the crowd really well. And it turns out he was actually talking about the King of Swing, Cesaro. So he introduced Cesaro. But I thought that was just a great swerve on the WWE Universe. It just goes to show you that the powers that be in WWE, they're paying attention definitely to what you guys are saying throughout social media, and they're using it to take little jabs at you all, let you know that they are aware of what you all are saying. Because think about it, what has been the number one thing probably that's been discussed on a lot of shows right now, and we've even talked about it at one point, but we didn't keep going overkill and talk about it week after week after week. And that's what's going on with Brock Lesnar. When is this guy going to be coming back? Why do they keep hyping up the whole WrestleMania streak? They aren't really taking advantage of this, yada, 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 yada. It's the same thing. No matter what show you listen to, it's always what's going on with Brock Lesnar. Why isn't WWE utilizing him right now? Why can't they have him maybe do some type of filmed stuff and they can just use that throughout the weeks? And I mean, when it's all said and done, I mean, we can all be in agreement and we can talk for hours about the way WWE needs to be utilizing Brock Lesnar and really milk the hell out of this fact that he took out the Undertaker streak. That he's the 1-21-1 or whatever the hell the damn man streak is. But I mean, when it's all said and done, that's just talk. It's just talk. So it really comes down to the powers that be in WWE and the way Brock Lesnar has this deal structured. Maybe he's just allowed after a certain amount of committed dates to be able to take X amount of time off, and then boom, he gets back into the fold again. Some of you all may not like that. I know, especially during this really fragile period that WWE is in right now, as they no longer have Daniel Bryan as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, Brock Lesnar would perfectly just slide right on in there into the mix and everything. But I would think that maybe around SummerSlam time, hell, maybe even Survivor Series time, we should be seeing Brock Lesnar pop back up, and then maybe after that, maybe things will be a little bit different. Would I like to see Brock Lesnar do more dates? Yes, but hell, man, hopefully that'll happen in due time, and if not, I'm not really tripping. I just love the fact that Paul Heyman has swerved the fans again tonight. He's just been on a roll, man. Seriously, he's been on a really good roll. But we saw Cesaro defeat RVD to advance. So the way Money in the Bank is looking right now, at least for this vacant championship, which will be contested in a ladder match, we've got Alberto Del Rio in there. We have Sheamus. We have Cesaro. And we have Randy Orton, and there's about, I believe, maybe 4 more spots or 3 more spots that need to be filled up, and that is going to be coming about in the next couple of weeks. Of course, I'm hoping that maybe they do something on SmackDown this Friday. I think that would be pretty awesome rather than just kind of mainly have it be on Raw. I'm really, really hoping that they stretch it out and let it continue on main WWE programming in the weeks to come. Those of you curious what was going on with Randy Orton tonight, he actually is on vacation. Yeah, so not only does the guy just get placed into this Money in the Bank match, but he's also on vacation for a whole week. Life must be good when you're rated RKO. I missed that stable, by the way. Edge and Randy Orton, that was a damn good tag team, man. To me, it just kind of seemed like it ended right when things was really starting to get pretty damn good. Kind of makes you wonder now, which tag team was better? Edge and Jericho or Edge and Randy Orton? That's a tough one right there, man. I kind of lean more towards the idea of Jericho and Edge, just the fact that we didn't see that take off the way it was supposed to, because remember, Jericho was just left dangling in the wind, and next thing you know, he got teamed up with Big Show, and thus that's how you had Jericho. But really would have been nice to see where that would have gone. I thought Rated RKO was good, but I'm leaning more towards Edge and Jericho. Let me know what you guys think about that. Post those comments down below. Other action that we had saw on tonight's Raw, we saw right back, so pick up a victory over R-Truth and Goldust, as once again Cody Rhodes trying to play manager, if you will, and is trying to figure out who would be the best tag team partner for his older brother, because he feels that he just cannot compliment him as a tag partner. Yeah, the streak continues of losses, at least for Goldust, and just really kind of makes you wonder what the hell is going on right here. I have an idea, because obviously it seems like this whole experiment with Cody Rhodes trying to find the right type of client, if you will, or tag team partner for Goldust. He's basically trying to be a manager, if you will, or an advocate for Goldust and finding him a partner. I have an idea. Hey, Cody Rhodes, why don't you let my good friend, wrestling manager extraordinaire, the evil genius, Titus Machiavelli, handle that? And you get back to doing what you do best, which is wrestling, because you being an advocate for your older brother just is not working out so well, man. I mean, at some point, when the hell is Goldust gonna just put down his towel and say, my God, I've had enough of this crap. I'm tired of losing. Dude, you suck. I'm gonna go find somebody else that can represent me and really help take me to that next level or whatever. But getting back on track, we did see Cody Rhodes talk to Goldust shortly after the defeat. And he said to him, look, man, I got a partner that you're really going to love. It's pretty much going to change everything. You just wait and see. It's going to be extraordinary. So you're kind of hearing that. And I don't know, man. I'm hoping that maybe Booker T will be next. It'd be nice to see Booker T make a one-time appearance. I just want to see him bust out the spin-a-rooney for real. That's all I want to see, is him do that. Alexander Rusev had made an appearance. He had another squash match against Zack Ryder. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. Zack Ryder's getting more TV time. He's getting squashed, but I guess we can't have it both ways, WWE fans and fans of Zack Ryder, as, hey, it'd be nice to see Zack Ryder kind of go back to the height of success that he had a little while, and his whole program with Eve Torres, Kane, and all that, but looks like he's just continuing to job. I guess we're at a point right now where WWE can't call up guys like JTG and maybe a few of the B-, C- type of talent that's over in NXT, or maybe pick up the phone and call some of those local city wrestlers and have them job to Rusev. We got to keep recycling the same batch of talent. I mean, it's a little irritating because I want to see fresh matchups. Because it's like, okay, Alexander Rusev, you've already beaten these people. It's like, who's next, man? Who is next? And something that I thought was very interesting was when Lana came out, she was talking about how weak and pathetic Americans are, and she actually took a shot at President Obama. And it was so funny because they showed like this footage of President Obama working out. He's got his whole little windbreaker jacket on, sweatpants, and it was actually him. You can't make this stuff up, guys. This guy was actually pushing 3-pound weights. I kid you not, 3-pound weights. And he was acting like he was struggling with those bad boys. And they showed him sitting down, taking a breather at one point, and he's just doing, the way he was just doing it, it was just looking so lame. And I just couldn't help but feel embarrassed as an African American, because I'm looking at that and I'm saying to myself, Obama, bro, you're supposed to be a brother, man. What the hell is going on here, man? You're supposed to be pushing some serious weights. It's like, what are you doing, And it just made me chuckle. It made me chuckle big time, because it was like, now look. I used to do serious weight training back in the day. I used to do the bodybuilding stuff and all that. And like for me, like no matter how long I might go on a hiatus from lifting weights and all that, I mean I can go like maybe 6 months or whatever, and like bare minimum, I can always start off with 25-pound weights, and it's like Obama's pushing 3 pounds. It's like that's not a damn workout, you know what I'm saying? It's like what the hell, you know? But insane, insane right there, man. I just did like this when I saw that because I was just so freaking embarrassed as a brother, man. I'm like, oh, the heartbreak, man. But nice little dig that WWE had took in Obama this week. So funny too, man, because as soon as I saw them ribbing on Obama, I like for some weird reason, like instantly as I was watching this segment, I remembered how President Obama, along with all these other politicians and other celebrities, they were like part of this video montage talking about all the good things that WWE had did. And I think they were using Obama in this promotional ad, like right around the time when Linda McMahon was trying to run for senator of Connecticut and everything. So I just think that it's kind of funny that like, okay, so like several months back, you guys scored a pretty sweet deal in having President Obama give you WWE that endorsement. And then how do you like repay that? You kind of come right back around and you just bitch slap the president of the United States and basically call him a puny man. Oh Lord have mercy. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's WWE for you. That is WWE for you. I love them though. I love when they do that tongue in cheek type of humor and everything. Rusev having the big old Russian flag just fall from the sky as he's in the middle of the ring post match after whooping Zack Ryder's behind. Yeah, I put a very interesting question out there. We've been talking about this for like the past several weeks, and I'm surprised there's like not like other colleagues of mine or like other fans talking about this. But I mean, this is really playing out to be like Rocky 4. I mean, who the hell is going to be the black guy known as Carl Weathers Apollo Creed that's going to get killed by Rusev, and we got the Rocky Balboa come in there and try to avenge the death of Apollo Creed. Now some of you said, hey, it's probably going to be John Cena. Hey, that's a damn good pick right there. It very well could be John Cena, but you know what? Before it gets to John Cena, can we please, and I think I'm on to something genius right here, okay? Can we please see the real American Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter cross paths with Alexander Rusev and Lana? I mean, it's like an explosion waiting to happen. I mean, you got a golden opportunity right there. Not to mention, think of the way that you can hype up Jack Swagger. I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to keep on saying it, even if I do get exhausted saying it all over again. Yeah, so Jack Swagger is a one-time World Heavyweight Champion. Most of us probably don't want to remember when he was a World Heavyweight Champion, but you still can't take that away from him. He's been doing great things since he's been in Real Americans. Probably actually one of the best highlights of his entire career in the WWE. And if I'm not mistaken, he's been in the WWE now for about maybe, I'll be gracious, I'll say maybe about 5, possibly 6 years. If it's more than that, wow, how time flies, you know. But can we please see that already? I mean, you've got the Real American. Okay, and that's like a total play off of Hulk Hogan, a Real American, American made. He's American. Yeah, don't even get me started on that song. That's my song too. But no, seriously, let's get back on track here. Seriously, we got to see that happen before this whole John Cena, if they are going to go down that path, which I think would be awesome. We got to see Jack Swagger get involved in there. I think it would be pretty awesome. What do you guys think? Post those comments down below. And we'll definitely get you part of this episode in just a little bit. If you're enjoying our recap and review right now, do me a huge favor. and give this piece a thumbs up. Google Plus this, retweet it, Facebook it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. I mentioned at the top of the hour that we're going to be going into a little bit of OT because we're going to do a special RCWR show spotlight on the current landscape of the WWE now that basically Daniel Bryan has been taken out of the picture as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, and I'm going to give you my take on whether or not, hey, it's good that Daniel Bryan is no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, or if it's bad. So make sure you stick around for that. I'm going to give you guys some pretty good insight, looking at it from both angles, from all perspectives, all right? Let's continue on and talk about some more fallout from tonight's WWE Raw. We saw 3MB come out, and they were supposed to be involved in some type of I don't know if this was an impromptu match or I don't know what the hell it was right here. It wasn't a match now that I think about it because I don't remember hearing a bell ring. I don't remember seeing a referee, but 3MB was out. They were talking hot trash about the Shield and basically saying, hey, we don't come out here and talk. We come out here and we'll fight, blah, blah, blah. Didn't see any Hornswoggle this week either. I thought that was kind of interesting. I guess he's putting extensions in on top of his little bald head and everything. Hey, Hornswoggle, ain't nothing wrong with going bald and lovely, baby. Mwah. That's all I got to say about that. But no, we saw Seth Rollins. No, not Seth Rollins. That was later. We actually saw Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. They came out. Two of those guys, they just beat the holy hell out of 3MB. They just own those guys. Heath Slater was actually a smart one and realized that they were no match for the Shield, despite the fact that it was only 2 against 3. Heath Slater decided that he was going to try to back on away, but he did not see what was coming next, as at the top of the ramp, he got a spear by Roman Reigns. And from there, we saw Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns cut a brief little promo, basically asking Seth Rollins why did he do what he did, and that they can't wait to hear what he has to say later on in the night, because after he said his piece, they're going to come on out and they're going to beat the crap out of him. All right? But nice little spot that they had right there. From there, we saw the Usos pick up a victory over Fandango and Damian Sandow, who was dressed as a ballerina this week. Not even going to touch that. I'm just not going to touch that. There are like so many things I could say about Damian Sandow right now. And I mean, let me just shorten it up real nice and sweet so we can move on. Kudos to Damian Sandow. I mean, he is just dealing with a hand that's like, it's either this or maybe we use it sparingly like Zack Ryder. I mean, that's the vibe I'm kind of getting right now. And, you know, I just am looking at a guy like Damian Sandow, and I'm just wondering, did he rub somebody off the wrong way? I mean, did he, like, sneeze on Vince McMahon to be put in these ridiculous segments? And if you guys don't get the Vince McMahon sneeze reference, do some research at your end and you'll know what I mean. But that's all I'm going to say about Damian Sandow. But bless his heart, this guy's able to go out there and he's able to make the best out of nothing, for real. And he's able to just get over. You know, some of it is silly, I feel, but he's getting over. And if it works, hey, keep it going. That's what I always say. Speaking of funny and keeping it going, you know, leading up to this particular match, we saw in a backstage segment Layla in I guess she was sitting down and she was talking to her makeup artist or whatever. And next thing you know, saw Summer Rae. She just poured all this white substance all over Layla's face and all that, and started beating the holy crap out of her. And then, like, the last burning image that we see is Layla and just all this white stuff, all this white liquid stuff on her face. And it's pretty much after hours now, so, you know, it's very rare we go raunchy like this. If you're under the age of 16, dudes, what I'm about to say, you might want to pause, go talk to your parents, make sure you can get permission. But otherwise, Have fun enjoying this. I thought to myself, my God, that is a perverted joke waiting to happen. And I actually had put a tweet out saying, hey, caption this. Whoever gives us the best caption, we will give you a mention on our show. All right. And there was so much good captions that came from you guys. There's like my top 5, and I'll name them, but like to everybody that had interacted with us on that caption piece, I love you guys tremendously. I kicked it off. I said, okay, here we go. OMG, that's a lot of cum, you know? Seriously. But no, here's what you guys had to say on that caption piece right here. And I'm pulling it up on Twitter right here. This was just some hilarious stuff that you guys were saying. Let's see. Here we go. Bear with me, guys. I got to, like, dig through all these interactions I'm looking at here. And here we go. 2 on Twitter at the RCWR show. JBL. She's fandangoing. I like that one. And we got another one from Shalone. All these are on Twitter, by the way. Shalone. When I said I needed a facial, this wasn't what I had in mind. Peter Dunn. TMZ reports new sex tape from when Layla was thought to be Komana Wanalaya. The Jag Fandangood. Raw Meat. I put this guy in the top 5 at the RCWR show. WWE. Suddenly, the Vince McMahon Kiss My Ass Club doesn't seem so bad. Bryan Sieges. This is why I don't have a daughter. Brass Knuckles. I should have said Melina versus Alicia Fox. Joe. This brings me back to my college days. She is kind of getting up there in age, too. That's Sir Quentin. I went too hard on him. Ole Anderson. No, not the Ole Anderson. This is somebody with a parody account. I just came in for a job interview. And I only want to read 2 more. Steve. Now that's a money shot. And my personal favorite, Brooke. At the RCWR show, WWE. I should have just swallowed. I love you guys tremendously, man. Thank you for those captions. And you know what? If you want to get involved and you want to caption the photo that we put out of Layla drenched in all that stuff, follow us on Twitter at the RCWR show, and you'll be able to find a picture. We also posted it on our Facebook page. But to all you guys that had commented on that and captioned it, kudos to you guys. Thank you guys tremendously. And you guys don't see it right now. Those of you that's going to be checking this out after this live episode has already been completed. But so those of you live, you won't see it right now. But to those that will be seeing this after this episode is complete, that's why you're going to see the thumbnail that we designed for you guys for this particular episode tonight. Those of you that's going to be like, what the hell is up with... Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Yeah. All right, let's continue on here. Bo Dallas continuing his undefeated streak as he had picked up a victory over Xavier Woods. Somebody refresh my memory right here. Didn't he already defeat Xavier Woods? Or, you know, not to sound racist, do I have my black people mixed up? Maybe it was another black person that he whooped a couple of times and Xavier Woods was actually new. I don't know, but I could have sworn that he's already faced Xavier Woods. I could be wrong on that. But, you know, am I the only one that every single time I see Bo Dallas, I like so want for him to come out to Journey's Don't Stop Believing? Surely I'm not alone right there. I mean, I would love for WWE to just pay those royalties, get that song, and just have Bo Dallas come out to that. I think that would just be freaking badass, straight up. What do you guys think? Or do you like his current music that's going on right now? Speaking of current music, I got to talk about Seth Rollins, as Michael Cole had an exclusive one-on-one interview with the man. And Seth Rollins came out to some really cool kick-ass type instrumental gothic music. I was really feeling it. I thought it fit his personality very well. And I put out an interesting tweet. I said, oh, great. The song kicks ass, but let's see how long it's going to take for WWE to go, now let's add some vocals to it, and then the song is going to suck. I mean, we've seen it happen time and time and time and time again. I think a great example of that, remember when Batista, years back, he was just starting off, pretty much right around the time when he was with Devon. He was doing the whole Deacon Batista thing, and like a little bit afterwards when he was flying as a solo act. Remember how he came out to that Count Chocula music? Remember? It was a nice little instrumental joint, and then he had it for a good minute, and then WWE, they decided to kind of revamp it a little bit, put some vocals in there, and then it was kind of like, yeah, you know it's going to happen eventually. It just sucks. Because you know what? I actually like the idea of an instrumental. You know, I like those days of wrestling where the wrestlers would come out and, you know, they just had the instrumental music going on, and the commentators were able to talk over it without any problems. I don't know why in today's wrestling we need to have vocals be involved in like every single track for a wrestler. You know, not every single wrestler needs to come out to a song that has to have vocals on it. You know, that's why sometimes I kind of miss the way wrestling was back in the day, because it just primarily revolved around instrumentals. He had a few wrestlers here and there that maybe pushed their favorite song. Like Jeff Jarrett is a good example. Not to go all into wrestling history and all that, but I'm going to come back on track in a little bit. But I remember old Jeff Jarrett in the territorial days, way before he got hooked up with WWE and WCW and all that. I remember there was a time where Jeff Jarrett used to come out to Robert Palmer's Simply Irresistible. I don't know if you guys remember that. And, you know, I thought that was kind of cool, you know, but, like, my God, like, you know, do we have to have every single freaking wrestler come out and have vocals on their entrance? Just let it be. And I hope for Seth Rollins it's exactly the way that it is. But let's talk about the promo that Seth Rollins had cut tonight. I mean, man, it really went in a CM Punk type of vibe. I mean, I couldn't help but go, damn, am I watching Seth Rollins? Or am I watching CM Punk? Or am I watching CM Punk's younger brother? You know, or am I watching, like, maybe some guy that's got Seth Rollins and CM Punk combined? Because he was really channeling CM Punk tonight. And it actually had put me in a CM Punk spirit, because I'm actually sporting my CM Punk WWE 2014 shirt from a while back. I didn't even realize I've never worn this before, so I thought I'd go ahead and bust it out tonight. But I thought it was kind of interesting, some of the things that Seth Rollins had said in his promo. Like, one of the things that he mentioned off the break was he was what had held the Shield together. The Shield would not have had the type of success that it had up to now if it wasn't for him. And that without him being that guidance, without him leading the way, pretty much Dean Ambrose would be running around as a freaking lunatic. Roman Reigns would just be some dumb brute, you know, like Hulk Smash, you know. And Seth Rollins really, really bringing it home. And he also had mentioned that for him, he got to a point where, yeah, you know, they did a clean sweep over Evolution and all that. And, you know, after a while, it just became what's next. And for him, Triple H basically presented him with a unique perspective, a real perspective, if you will, which is basically the evolution of Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins would bring up the fact that for the past 2 years, he was going around, he teamed up with those guys. As far as he was concerned, it was nothing more than a business relationship. It was a business partnership. And that what he did last week was in that business partnership. And that from here on out, he's doing his own thing. And most importantly, that whole little fist thing, believe in the Shield. Well, he wants from Michael Cole, the WWE fans, to start believing in Seth Rollins, because that's pretty much what it's all about. He then went on ahead and demanded that Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns come out, since they had promised that they were going to come out and give him a beating. And we would see Ambrose and Reigns come on down. And next thing you know, it looked as though we're about to see a handicap beatdown go down. Lights go off, come back on. We see the Wyatts there, and they're taking the fight to Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. My allergies are like killing me today, guys, so excuse me for sniffling from time to time. But next thing you know, we had John Cena. Yes. And I got to give him that Mighty Mouse joint again. Here I come to save the day. Yes. Mighty Mouse John Cena coming out. I've never bashed John Cena before. I know that there's plenty of my colleagues that's out there that can just do all that work, and they do it very well. But, oh, God, I got to be real, man. I did not like John Cena getting involved in this. You know, I can understand the connection with the whole Bray Wyatt thing and all that. I could see that. But you know what? I just kind of felt like WWE was just, you know, as a kid growing up, this is a perfect analogy too. You know, when you were a kid growing up, your mom had made you your favorite meal, but before you could get to dessert, there was always that side of vegetables that you never wanted to eat, whether it was broccoli, Brussels sprouts, whatever that vegetable was. You just could not stand it. Squash, you didn't want to eat it. And your mom was like, well, you're not getting ice cream and cake until you eat that. And you're kind of like, do I have to? And in some cases, you would probably be sitting there all night, fall asleep at that table, until it was time for your ass to get up, go to school, go have yourself some nice breakfast and lunch at school. But when you came back, that plate with those nasty-ass vegetables was still there, and you pretty much was not going to be able to eat your next new batch of meals that mom had made for you until you had ate that nasty-ass side of vegetables. You maybe got a glass of milk and some bread or whatever, but your mom wanted you to eat those nasty ass vegetables. That's how I feel with John Cena. John Cena is like those nasty vegetables that you just don't want to digest, that you just want to go, I don't want that right now. I would rather have that because that looks good. I was not feeling John Cena being involved in this. I just felt like WWE Creative was just really cramming him into a situation where they're trying to do their best to have him go over, you know. And for me, I would have enjoyed it more if it would have been a handicap match with Bray Wyatt and his Wyatt family basically getting a one-up over the Shield, especially when you think about the long checkered history that the Wyatts have had with the Shield. I mean, they've been going back and forth with one another since last year going into this year. And for me, it would have been bittersweet to see Seth Rollins maybe be kicking back, sitting in Bray Wyatt's rocking chair and watching everything go down with this match, you know. And at some points, maybe we could have seen Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns. They could have been a little bit distracted, being hot-headed because they wanted to get their hands on Seth Rollins, but every time they tried to do so, one of the Wyatts was always there to derail them and everything. I would have been more satisfied with that type of a finish. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what I don't understand. If John Cena defeated Bray Wyatt at the last pay-per-view, and they're saying, oh, it was a last man standing match, blah, 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 it's kind of like, well, can maybe we take a little bit of a breather? I'm sure the fans wouldn't mind having a breather from the whole John Cena Bray Wyatt saga, but it just seems like now WWE is kind of going with the whole impression, okay, well, this Bray Wyatt John Cena thing is still kind of hot. How can we keep this going? Well, let's have John Cena get involved with the Shield and all that, since nobody wants to team with him and everything. Or since the Shield is having a hard time finding a partner, maybe John Cena will be that person to come to their aid, and I'm just not sold on that. The only way I would be sold on John Cena being in the Shield is if John Cena gets rid of those, and I gotta go with Dio, the late Dio from Black Sabbath and all that. Neon lights, I gotta see that neon lights, hot green shirt go off and all that, and I need to see John Cena put on some Shield gear. That's the only way I'm gonna buy into a John Cena teaming up with the Shield, because right now I'm just not really feeling it. I'm hoping that in the weeks to come, we kind of see Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns kind of go, hey, man, we didn't need your help. We didn't ask for it, but we sure as hell aren't stupid. I would like to kind of maybe see them say something along those lines, and also kind of maybe give John Cena an ultimatum, which is, you're not wearing the right colors. If you're going to roll with us, you may want to consider switching up all your gear. And then that could kind of like get the whole wrestling community talking, like, oh, snap, is John Cena maybe going to go on ahead and join the Shield? Is he going to put on some Shield gear, And then maybe we can kind of play with that idea for a couple of weeks. And it basically leads up to maybe John Cena kind of giving a nice little swerve on the fans and basically get rid of the neon lights, and instead go with all black look. He can still push his whole hustle, loyalty, respect, but maybe he can have it be in black and white type of inspired NWO colors or whatever like that. Who knows? I'm just putting some food for thought out there. You guys marinate on that. Let me know what you think, and we'll follow up on what y'all have to say. But a damn good promo that Seth Rollins had set up, thus setting up the main event match that will come about. We kind of told you guys about that as John Cena teamed up with Ambrose and Roman Reigns to take on the Wyatt family. We had saw the team of Cena and the Shield pick up the victory. But again, just a poor, crappy little finish that they had with that. I wish they would have booked it differently so that it wasn't a situation where John Cena needed to be involved. But there is a bright spot I can look at with regards to this whole John Cena angle and the way it's playing. The Authority at one point, they were seen in a backstage segment, and they were talking about how John Cena seems to be poking his nose in Authority business. As Stephanie McMahon brought up how last week John Cena injected himself into a critical decision that she was about to make as far as the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, trying to strip it from Daniel Bryan last week. And she also had brought up what was going on with John Cena this week. And Triple H just kind of had a little bit of a low-key profile. His whole thing was, well, if things go right after this week, your problems might be solved. And we saw a cameo by Vicky Guerrero, who tried to give a glass or two of champagne to the Authority, and she had sneezed, and we saw a little bit of Stephanie channeling her father, and got so mad that she told Vicky to get the hell out and remember that she can't be fired again and to get out of the office. Once again, if you guys don't know about the whole sneezing thing, do your research on that, because it seemed like Stephanie McMahon was kind of picking up on that as well. Other honorable mentions we should point out for tonight's episode of Raw: Paige picked up a victory over Alicia Fox as Oksana was at ringside watching her. Alicia Fox post-match was just going all diva crazy on poor Oksana, smacking her around, uh, putting beverages and food all in her face, rubbing in her hair and all that. I mean, she's just really going bipolar on poor Oksana. And we saw Jack Swagger pick up a victory over Santino. A bit of a squash match right there. I was actually a little bit surprised that we did not get an appearance by Adam Rose, because I was actually looking for Adam Rose to maybe come out and cause a little bit of a ruckus with Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger that would result in Santino picking up an upset win over Swagger. Very surprised that they did not go that route. I don't know what creative was thinking in that particular area right there. But with regards to tonight's episode of WWE Raw, I gotta say, for the most part, I mean, my God, we got hit with like about 10 matches total. But when you really break down the card and you look at how much they had really gave us, that was like, you know what, that match was definitely on point. I would definitely have to give it to Cena and the Shield taking on the Wyatt family. That was on point. Definitely Cesaro taking on RVD. Wade Barrett taking on Sheamus. That was another good one. Maybe an honorable mention to the Usos, Fandango, Damien Sandow, but that's pretty much it as far as I go. There was only like about 3, maybe 4 matches out of those 10 matches that was actually on point. But I won't say it was a lackluster episode of Raw, but, this definitely was one that was worth watching for the simple fact of what was going on with Daniel Bryan and the WWE Championship and Seth Rollins breaking his silence. And what did we tell you guys over the weekend? We say, 9 times out of 10, they were probably going to milk the hell out of it and stretch it out until this Monday night and reveal why Seth Rollins did what he did. So many people thought they were maybe going to get that on SmackDown last week, but that was nothing but just really you guys on, just giving you guys a refresher in case you didn't see what had happened that Monday night, respectfully. So let's pull up you guys' comments and let's see what you all have to say. I'm not going to get through all of you all's comments. I only want to get through some, and then we're going to kind of go a little bit in depth about Daniel Bryan, as now he's no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. My allergies are like just, I don't know what it is, man, but like every time I do the show in here, my allergies just start, I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a lot of dust in here. I don't know. I might have to look into that, though. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about here. Reggie, not sure why wrestling fans are mad about Bryan getting stripped. If a champion is out for a long time and unable to compete, the title should be vacant. Best recovery for Daniel. An awesome promo by Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins. All 3 are the future. Getting tired again of the WWE fans chanting CM Punk in matches they don't like. Get over it. I feel like we are in the whining era. The fans complain when they don't see CM Punk out there or don't like the current match in the ring. It's disrespectful to the wrestlers in the ring performing. I feel like chucking my TV out the window anytime I hear CM Punk chants. He is done with wrestling. Move on, people. Hey, Lee, what you think is the next step for Daniel Bryan? That comes from Blaine. I'll actually get to that in just a little bit after I read just a couple more comments here. 9476C, you are right about the logic that it makes sense that they are fighting over the championship in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but it's a shame that they can't use the Money in the Bank gimmick this year because I personally find it fun. Oh, well, don't hold out just yet. It still might actually happen. You never know, man. McLovin, work late, but always glad to hear your review. Keep up the great work. You are the best for business. By the way, I think Daniel Bryan sucks, just by opinion. Rollins will do great. I watch him coming up. Huge fan. All right. UK, Edge a Christian for life. Well, nobody's disputing that. Nobody's disputing that. But, you know, if you had to pick between Edge and Jericho, or Edge and Randy Orton, between those two respective tag teams, which one was the better one, you think? One more here. GK, so I'm not sure on the direction the WWE is taking for the Shield, specifically for the upcoming pay-per-view. Perhaps a tag match versus Triple H and Rollins? But that's not something I'd be that into. Any suggestions, Lee? Yeah, I got some suggestions. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I'm not going to put everything out there because we got to do a show for you guys on Tuesday night. But I will talk about it on Tuesday night. Let's read one more here. Beaver Sutherland. You must love Kiefer Sutherland. How's 24, man? Fun that you say that because even though I do like Rollins, I've been calling him CM Punk Part 2 for about a year now. That's good. Let's go just a little bit in depth about Daniel Bryan and what's going on now as a result of him no longer being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You know, I'm looking into the crystal ball a little bit, and I see big things that's going to be happening with regards to this because I think I have an idea on what the next big storyline is going to be for Daniel Bryan when he does get ready to come back into the WWE in a full in-ring capacity. Now, feel me on this. Now, just think about some of the things that the Authority had laid out in setting up the stripping of Daniel Bryan as the WWE Champion. One of the things that Stephanie McMahon had mentioned was that she tried calling Daniel Bryan all throughout the day, but he wouldn't return her phone calls. Then it was brought up that she tried to get in contact with Daniel Bryan's agent and that she did not hear from that agent. And then Triple H throws insult to injury and says, yeah, and you see what type of champion Daniel Bryan is. He didn't even show up tonight. So that tells you the type of champion he is. They weren't just throwing this out there just for the hell of it. I want you guys to really home in on that because I think when it's all said and done, looking down the road, I believe the Authority had set up a very well executed and elaborate plan to make sure that Daniel Bryan was not going to be in a position where he could publicly be seen fighting the Authority and once again telling them, no, you're not getting this championship. It's just not going to happen. You guys aren't getting it. I think as the weeks progress and when Daniel Bryan does eventually come back to the WWE, we could see some type of an angle play out where we might learn that Daniel Bryan was probably overseas, maybe doing some type of promotional work for WWE, or they sent him to do some type of promotional work, and basically behind his back they pulled all these strings talking to Daniel Bryan's doctor. And by the way, very convenient that Daniel Bryan's doctor had put Daniel Bryan's personal information out there as far as his health and everything, because normally when you have that type of situation come about, usually the wrestler that's involved, they make some type of statement basically backing up what that doctor is saying and all that. So, one thing that you guys need to think about, this doctor that the Authority had got, right? Is it possible that that was a paid actor, that they had that doctor just say whatever so that it could look like to the WWE universe and to those watching at home that, hey, this is legitimately the real deal right here. You see, folks, we have no choice. We have to strip Daniel Bryan of the championship. When in actuality, Daniel Bryan could be coming back and say, look, I was cleared to do my thing at Money in the Bank, but you guys used backstabbing politics to screw me out of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and basically that could reignite a rivalry, if you will, or a program with the Authority, and then that's how you get Kane right back in there. And then those two guys pick up where they left off. And if they're going to do the stretcher match, great. If it's going to be a buried alive match, great. Whatever the case, those two definitely need to resume their program because, as you all have seen, and as we mentioned throughout the weeks, Kane just not really hasn't been the same since Daniel Bryan has been out of the picture. It's just been like dust in the wind, you know? So I think that's possibly what you guys could expect. This all could have just been some elaborate scheme to basically screw Daniel Bryan. If he was in a way doing some type of promotional work for WWE, it's also possible that maybe they told Daniel Bryan, look, we're going to be at this venue on this night, so make sure you're there. And Daniel Bryan, along with his wife Bree, they probably drove to that event, found out, hey, what the hell's going on? Now, look, I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt right here, and I'm actually going to see if Daniel Bryan had anything to say on Twitter tonight with regards to what all had came about. And so far, the last tweet that Daniel Bryan had put out was on May 30th, and he was actually talking about his post-surgery. So he's been quiet since then. You would think that if there's some type of a rebuttal from Daniel Bryan that would have happened with regards to what came about from tonight's Raw, he would have taken it to social media at some point. And you know what? Maybe before this week is out, I wouldn't be too surprised if Daniel Bryan might say something. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Daniel Bryan says something along the lines of WWE Universe, you guys were lied to, you guys were misled. You guys need to be told the truth, and I'm going to do everything in my power to tell you guys the truth next week on Raw. And I can see some type of an angle playing out where maybe the very next time Daniel Bryan does try to return on WWE programming, Daniel Bryan gets told that he's not allowed access to the arena per the authority. So I can see something coming about where Daniel Bryan is going to get shafted big time by the authority figure. But in a nutshell, I'm definitely looking at all of this to be some type of an elaborate scheme, a power play move to basically screw Bryan out of the championship. What do you guys think about everything that I've been putting out there to you so far? Post those comments down below. Let me know what you think. And while I'm awaiting you guys' comments on that, another thing that we need to talk about is how with Daniel Bryan no longer as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, like now that that's out, he's not champion, it's like fair game. It's like who is really going to step it up in his place, and I want to go on record right here, and I want to say, and this might upset some people, especially hardcore Daniel Bryan fans, I'm happy that he's no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. For the simple fact, talented wrestler, yes, a very gifted wrestler at that, damn good wrestler at that. I've watched his career for a good moment now, ever since he came through NXT, and I've been able to piggy on back and check out his stuff from ROH and all that, and I beat myself like repeatedly from time to time that I wasn't checking him out back in ROH back in the day, so I could even have that much more of an appreciation for how far along he's come along in his career. But I'm definitely a Daniel Bryan fan, but at the same time, when I was growing up as a kid, I grew up on the Bret Harts, the Hulk Hogans, the Yokozunas, the Undertakers, the Ric Flairs, the Harley Race, Larry Zbyszko, so many great names of folks that I grew up on in wrestling. I grew up on those man's man of a champion, and somebody I had actually put this out there on YouTube a couple of weeks back. They were like, what does a man's man mean? I don't understand. Daniel Bryan is a man. I don't understand. What's a man's man? A man's man is basically a nice way of saying a man's man is somebody that, like, as a guy, you can look at and you can say, you know what, that guy kicks mega freaking ass. He takes no names. He takes no bullshit. He's willing to stand his ground, fight the good fight, every single week. That's the kind of guy that you'd love to have a beer with, a man's type of man, and all the guys that I just named, those were man's man type of champions. But in this new era of wrestling, it's not about how technical you are. It's not about how well you move with such grace in the ring. No, 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 no. Instead, it's about how many catchphrases do you have? How many of those catchphrases can we put on t-shirts, and how many of those catchphrases on the t-shirts can we sell, and how many of those t-shirts with the catchphrases can we sell that can definitely push the ticket sales, and then it can definitely push the pay-per-view sales, and it's just this whole big old domino effect. It's all about the whole marketing campaign now, and I think a very interesting question that one of our listeners had brought up a couple of weeks ago was, is it the yes chance that is getting Daniel Bryan over, or is Daniel Bryan actually getting himself over? And, it's a very interesting question. I just know right now, and I got to be brutally honest, I'm not for this whole yes movement stuff. I'm just not. Maybe you could say I'm old fashioned. Maybe you could say I'm a little bit out of touch. That's your opinion, and we can disagree. It's okay to disagree. I love you. I don't think you're stupid if you think differently than I do, and I hope you don't think I'm stupid for the way that I think, because it's just my opinion. And it's okay to disagree. But for me, I am happy that Daniel Bryan is no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, because this gives a very huge opportunity right here for somebody to come on in and be able to take advantage of a really great opportunity. Now, looking at the current Money in the Bank contestants right now, I mean, if I were to just give an early projection right now, man, I love the idea of Sheamus. I love the idea of Sheamus being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, you talk about a nice little boost right there. And you know what? It would also, when you think about it in this standpoint, it would be a great opportunity for WWE to kind of go in an angle where they can basically say, okay, look, we already have the Intercontinental Championship floating around. Sheamus, you have the United States Championship on top of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And feel me on this, just looking ahead. Sheamus, you haven't defended the United States Championship in a very good minute. It's a lot of responsibility that you have being the United States Champion and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. We've been kind of thinking about it, and we think it's time to go on ahead and retire the United States Championship. And honestly, I think the timing would be perfect, because there's just too many belts as it is. I kind of like how it was in the 80s. You just basically had the WWF World Heavyweight Championship, you had the Tag Team Championships, and you had the Intercontinental Championship. Oh, and you also had the Women's Championship. Let's not always forget that. So, I mean, they kind of just let it go back to those basic four. I'd be all five for that. If you're going to introduce another belt, bring back the 24/7 rule with the Hardcore Championship. Bring that back, I've always thought, But I think right now, the more simple WWE makes it, the better. So for me, I'm looking at a guy like Sheamus, a heel Sheamus at that. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be awesome, especially, when you kind of think about it from the standpoint of, well, if Sheamus were to kind of go the heel route, you could definitely incorporate him with the Authority. They were kind of playing around with the idea of maybe having him join Evolution anyway, at least from reports floating around on the web. Whether or not that's 100% accurate remains to be seen, because anything can still happen at this point. But I kind of like that idea better. I'm sorry, Cesaro fans, but Cesaro he's just not quite ready yet. I would be really shocked to see him be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But let me tell you something with regards to that. If not Sheamus, Cesaro would be a great twist for the WWE Universe because they wouldn't see it coming. And if WWE really wants to stick it to Reddit user Dolphin, whatever, who seems to do exceptionally well in betting on matches that has already been predetermined, I just think that's hilarious that people are actually betting on predetermined matches. That just always gives me a chuckle. But no, seriously, if WWE really wants to put a swerve on the WWE Universe, then they let Cesaro win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which thus would set up a Brock Lesnar return. And we could pretty much see Brock Lesnar, Cesaro cross paths for that first time. And Brock Lesnar really isn't too keen on the fact that Cesaro has that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I can see something come about where if WWE does it right, Brock Lesnar, he could be talking to Paul Heyman on the side and going, I took out Undertaker's streak. I'm the one that gave him his 1 in 21. And I didn't get no shot for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Paulie, I thought you were looking out for my best interest. What's up? And we could kind of see Paul Heyman be stuck in the middle right there, where it's kind of like, man, where does his allegiance lie? Is it with his longtime friend and client Brock Lesnar, or is it with Cesaro? And if they do it right, we could eventually see Paul Heyman along with Brock Lesnar basically turn on Cesaro, which would set up a really great program for Cesaro and Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then at that point, if WWE wants to pull the trigger and make Brock Lesnar be the World Heavyweight Champion, then I think it would be a smart move. But then the million-dollar question becomes, what do you do with that Brock Lesnar as a WWE World Heavyweight Champion from that point that he becomes champion to next year's WrestleMania? Do you let him hold on to the championship for a couple of months, or do you just maybe have him lose to Cesaro? Because remember, keep this in the back of your mind. Supposedly, we may be seeing The Rock wrestle one more time at WrestleMania 31, and it could be against Brock Lesnar. So do you maybe have that match be for the title? Or does maybe Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson come back and he kind of gets involved in Brock Lesnar's affairs involving the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, screws Brock Lesnar out of the championship, and then thus that sets up a Brock Lesnar versus Rock match, where Rock basically is still a little bit peeved off that he got his ass whooped by Brock Lesnar. What was that? SummerSlam? What was that, 2001? What was it, 2001, guy? I think it was like 2001 or 2002 that Rock has suffered a defeat at the hands of Brock Lesnar, and we never saw a rematch either. So, I mean, there's a lot of directions that could be happening between now and then, but everything just really centers around the fact that Daniel Bryan is no longer the WWE champion, and we got a roster full of hungry guys that definitely need to step up their game big time. Now, I will tell you this much as we get ready to go back, include some more of you guys' comments, and wrap up the show here. With regards to John Cena, I'm seeing somewhat of a bright light at the end of the tunnel for you anti-John Cena fans, and you don't like the fact that he's been getting involved in the authorities' business. You don't like the fact that he's sticking his nose in there between the Shield and the Wyatts and all that. I do see a bright light at the end of the tunnel. I have a strong feeling that John Cena will not be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion come this year's Money in the Bank. I strongly believe that. I think the way things are playing out next couple of weeks, with John Cena sticking his nose in the authorities' business, the authority is definitely going to try to find some type of way to stick it to John Cena. So I don't see him becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So bank on two things. One, what the authority has said tonight, which was at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, we're guaranteed a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But most importantly, bank on this. And I'm telling you guys here this early morning on June 10th, 2014, you're going to get a brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, one that you have not seen as a WWE World Heavyweight Champion before, because I don't even think Randy Orton is going to get that. That's like, we've been there, we've done that. I don't see it being Randy Orton. You know, that just did not work out well. So, again, who's it going to be? Well, I gave you 2 early picks, but we got at least 3 more people to 4 people that need to be announced for that Money in the Bank match for the title. Should be very interesting to see how things play out in the next coming weeks. Let's see some of the other comments that's coming in from you guys right now. I'm going to take to YouTube, refresh, pull it back up here. All right, let's see what we got right here. McLovin, yes, yes, yes. They stripped Bryan. That is what is best for business. Blake, I think John Cena should join Ambrose and Reigns to make up the Shield 2.0, then have a match against Evolution 2.0 versus the Shield 2.0. McLovin, please, no more Adam Rose. Oh my God. She slapped Jack Swagger on the ass last week twice and got out of a full Nelson by thrusting his butt back on Swagger. Just imagine that, Lee. Me and you would be great, but 2 guys, oh hell. Let's see what else you guys are saying right here. Billup, what's up, man? Hey, Lee, about that John Cena thing, what else would WWE do with Cena fans? Don't want him in the title picture or near it. So what I can see, John Cena and the Shield going against the Authority, and also I can see Daniel Bryan involved in a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. That's what I'm predicting. It makes storyline sense. Okay. Phil, what's up, Phil? I've never really dug on Swagger Lee. To be honest, the most heat the kid ever had was for the few weeks right after the Real American gimmick came out, and they were talking about it in the mainstream media. And it seems like as soon as it got some real heat, the WWE turned down the gimmick a few notches. That's true. Vincent, Kevin Hart come out as Apollo Creed. Imagine that, right? Kenny, thank you for that. SummerSlam 2002 was Brock Lesnar taking on The Rock. Damn good match, too. I still have that entire pay-per-view on VHS, by the way, unedited. Shawn Michaels overselling the hell out of Hulk Hogan's moves. And Jose, to answer your question, buddy, I am actually a graphic design artist. I do a lot of paintings. I do a lot of drawings. Comic book is one of my hobbies. And as you can see right here, this is a really cool display that's going on. I don't play with these figures that I have in the back here. You know, it's just a really nice, cool collection that I have. It's funny that you kind of pointed that out, because, you know, what I try to do every single week is we try to have a really nice, cool, fun, laid-back type of atmosphere, because if you really kind of think about it, the audience of the wrestling fans that's checking this out, you know, the age demographics is probably anywhere from 12 to maybe as old as 45, and I mean, we cover a little bit of everything over here. You know, so I see your comment, and I mean, man, I love what I'm doing, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon, baby. So thank you for that comment, you know. And other than that, boys and girls, that is pretty much going to do it. All right, so we had another great show lined up. We got a busy week that's going to be coming up too, man. Check this out. So we got the Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show. Do join us for that. We're going to be going all over the place, cover the latest in wrestling, entertainment, headlines. You know how we do it. Check it out, radio edition of the RCWR show. Catch it at 10 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. Later on in the week, I'm actually going to be chatting it up with veteran pro wrestling sensation Luke Hawks. That's going to be pretty freaking solid. So check that out. We'll let you know when that'll be available. And that's going to do it. You guys know the links where you can check us out. Represent if you like our product. We got some cool merchandise you can check out. Links are all in the episode description. And folks, that is pretty much going to do it. Thank you so much for going in the overtime with us tonight. I do hope you guys had enjoyed this. You know, it's rare that we go this much in the OT, but hopefully I brought up a lot of really cool, good points that will have you think about how the WWE product is going to be going in the next several weeks. And let's do this again, same time, same place. Our next show will be in just a handful of hours on June 10th, 2014 at 10 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. And in the meantime, please give this piece a thumbs up if you enjoyed. You can also Google Plus this, retweet it, Facebook it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about us. That is going to do it, boys and girls. Good night, good morning, and I wish all y'all to be safe and be kind to one another. And I'll see you next go round. Everybody, take care.